Hey guys, Vince here. The topic of the video is upper body pulling, gymnastic pulling progression for jiu-jitsu competition and for jiu-jitsu practitioners maybe working out at home. Quick disclaimer here, we're not offering any actual programming, just movement progression. Your specific program will be unique to your own strength to weight ratio and fitness level. Pictured here, some superficial muscles of the upper back, pulling muscles of the back, rhomboids, traps, lats, also not pictured, rear delt and bicep. So why do we want to improve the strength of our upper limbs? Uh, our hands and arms are our initial connection to everything that surrounds us, not only our opponent, but everything we interact with uh, in our world, right? So our better our connection, the better our manipulation of items or structures, the more influence and control we have over those items. So the role of our upper limbs in combat sports, grappling specifically, we see this progression of initial contact and control, isolation of a structure, and then reinforcing that control, either with two arms on one or with the lower body. Regardless of method, there's a clear requirement for upper body strength to isolate and compromise the structures of your opponent in the sport. Furthermore, there's a recurring pattern we can identify of the offensive grappler performing pulling movements to secure a hold and attack submission, while the defensive grappler, generally speaking, is pushing away to make space and defend those same points of attack. Okay, so we'll start our pulling progression with some range of motion and activation for the upper back muscles and shoulder blades. So we're retracting and protracting the scapula, pulling the shoulder blades down and back, and then relaxing into the negative and kind of collapsing for this range of motion. This is okay to do during the warm-up when we're achieving our range of motion, but later on when we're doing the actual reps, we're going to stay tight and braced through our thoracic spine. These are just some scap pull-ups and scap ring rows. I like to work the same plane of movement in a prone supported position. So same range of motion. You can do it on the elbows or in this front leaning rest prone supported position. Additionally, we can add a press and activate those posterior pulling muscles with a skydiver or a hand release push-up, flexing the muscles of the upper back, alternating with the press of the push-up. All right, first exercise is the ring row. Preferred method is on the rings because they're height adjustable and facilitate this support of this movement here. Be advised, we never want to collapse or use momentum for our strength movements. So you'll see my thoracic spine collapse here. This is improper. We never want to do that or use momentum to get up to the top, right? And we're always also going through full range of motion, full extension of the arms to full flexion, pulling all the way to the rib cage. We can scale this movement up by going to a more horizontal position. So standing ring row and a horizontal ring row. Next, moving away from the horizontal pull and more to a vertical pull, we have a supported pull-up. So supported by our lower body in this squat movement pattern where we can provide some negative resistance on our pull, right? So adding help. And we can scale that up with our legs out in front, taking away some of the negative resistance or making it a little bit more difficult. Good viable option for those of you trying to improve your strength to weight ratio. All right, another movement we can mix in are these controlled negatives from a fully flexed position and controlling the eccentric movement down to an extended arm position, right? Still supporting with the lower body and controlling this negative. This is a good stepping stone on your way to strict pull-ups and strict chin-ups. Next, we can see the strict pull-up and strict chin-up being performed. I like to do this with a slight angle at the hip, like a gymnast would, the tight body position. Generally accepted that the supinated grip is the chin up and pronated grip is the pull up grip. The different grips offer slightly different demands on muscle groups. Once we achieve strength and proficiency with the strict pull-up and chin-up, we can mix in a little bit of tempo. So just like we were controlling the negative before, we're doing that with full body weight now, and also through the concentric and eccentric movement, so controlling the tempo up and down. Here's an isometric hold. We can perform this at full flexion, at a dead hang, or in the midpoint of the movement. The strict knee to elbow or gymnastic ball up, both excellent accessory movements for bodyweight pulling. Work some of the serratus, abdominal, actually chest and triceps too. Last movement I threw in there is this one arm ring row, this archer row. Just to bring it full circle, we started with this some horizontal pulling on the rings, and we brought it up to vertical pull and some strict and isometric variations, and lastly threw in some accessory movements to help with your upper body pulling. Love to hear feedback. I hope this has you guys making milestones and making improvements in your strength. Thanks for taking a minute to watch. Subscribe for more videos and content.